part of the news cycle again from them. It's Holocaust denial. And I say it's come up from them again because, of course, we had Trump host a dinner for rapper Kanye West after West said he was going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people and started posting swastikas online. Mr. West's dinner companion was a self-avowed Nazi with a large online following. We then recently had a major point of awkwardness between the Trump campaign and one of their largest donors. Remember when Trump said the Medal of Honor was a bad thing because members of the military who received that highest military honor that we give as a nation, they've usually been shot or killed in defense of their country by the time they received that award? Do you remember the context of why he said that? The reason he said that, the riff that led him to that, is because he was saying the Medal of Honor is bad compared with another medal that he said was better. Because the other medal he said was better was the one he had given to his billionaire donor, Miriam Adelson. Why was he talking about the fact that he gave Miriam Adelson that medal years ago? He didn't give it to her recently. He gave it to her when he was president. Why was he bringing that up now on the campaign trail? Because he was trying to make nice to her. He had to make nice to her because he wants her money for the campaign again this year. And he had to make something up to her because a bunch of text messages were leaked in which his running mate, J.D. Vance, talked smack about Mrs. Adelson and specifically her late husband. Those disparaging messages about the Adelsons were leaked to the press by the person to whom J.D. Vance sent the texts. This is a man who J.D. Vance was texting with a lot, including texting this man disparaging remarks about a famous Jewish Republican political donor. The man who J.D. Vance was texting with about that, the guy who leaked the messages to the press, is himself most notorious for being a Holocaust denier. And now Senator Vance is due to go do a big public event with a former Fox News host who just spoke at the RNC, who then followed that up with a big public-facing laudatory interview with yet another Holocaust denier, whom he praised as the best public historian in America, a man who says the United States fought on the wrong side in World War II, that Hitler was not the real bad guy in World War II, that Hitler has gone to heaven, and who has said that it's a myth that the Nazis ever really set out to kill the Jews. It is astonishing that Holocaust denial is not an accidental brush with this campaign, but something that keeps coming up over and over and over again. And it's not just something that's like outre or impolite. It's really consequential. And it's really worrying that this is a recurring thing in this presidential campaign. That this presidential campaign, that this presidential candidate keeps churning up new associations with Holocaust deniers every few weeks or months. Because why do people do this? What is Holocaust denial for? What purpose does it serve? Holocaust deniers don't think that there's been a big misunderstanding or that there's been sort of some good faith mistake about what really happened in history. What Holocaust deniers are contending is that a deliberate lie has been concocted to make us believe something that isn't actually true, to make us believe that the history we've been taught about what happened in World War II is a hoax perpetrated by the Jews to make Germany look bad when Germany doesn't really deserve that, when Hitler really wasn't so bad. Holocaust deniers say not only that the Holocaust didn't really happen, but the myth of the Holocaust was invented as a hoax to make Nazism and fascism look bad when really they're not bad at all. They're good. Right? That's the first level implication of Holocaust denial. And it's not only a bad and dangerous thing because it's an overt effort to rehabilitate Nazism and fascism and whitewash what is bad about those things. It's also bad because it entails a conspiracy theory about the world today, which ultimately demands that we get rid of democracy and get ourselves a strongman government instead. Because Holocaust denial isn't just, oh, I'm fuzzy on what really happened. It was a long time ago. Holocaust denial, particularly the kind being promoted by the guy who J.D. Vance is about to appear with, this variety of Holocaust denial is the contention that there is a conspiracy that is teaching you a lie, that is trying to make you believe a myth about some bad thing having happened to the Jewish people that didn't really happen. And why have you been taught this myth about a bad thing happening to the Jewish people when it didn't really happen? Well, that's the Jews who are teaching you that myth, because it serves Jewish interests, because Jews are so powerful and so conniving that they've invented this fake history and made us all believe it. The contention of the Holocaust deniers is that nothing bad actually happened to the Jews. But you've been manipulated into believing that it did, because Jews are secretly this unimaginably powerful cabal, and they're mind controlling us all for their own purposes, to get what they want. And what do they want? They want white Christians to look bad so that they can be in charge. They want to destroy the white race. They want to destroy Christianity. They want to rule the world. And the implication of this is that if there's a group that powerful conspiring against Christians everywhere, well, what could possibly stop them? Certainly there's no point in engaging in, democratic political processes, because, hey, if the real power is in the hands of this secret evil elite operating behind the scenes, then nothing you do in so-called politics is going to ever matter. The evil cabal will keep pulling the strings. So don't bother participating in politics. It's all a ruse. It's all a hoax. You know there's an evil conspiracy that's really running everything. In that formulation, democracy is for suckers, right? Democracy is naive and maybe even evil if it allows these evil, powerful groups like Jewish people to participate in democratic processes along us, the Christians, who are evermore their victims. So in the short term, right, before you rush to the eliminationist, murderous ends that Holocaust denial inevitably leads to, even before you get there, the consequence of perpetrating this stuff, the consequence of platforming this stuff, the consequence of telling these lies, of defining Jewish people as perpetrating a hoax against white Christians, or even of defining Jewish people as the secret power behind the government or culture or finance or whatever, the consequence of it, what you're telling people is that we should give up on democracy, because we're going to need to take extreme action against these very, 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 very all-powerful evil enemies within. So maybe we'll start with camps for millions of people and long prison sentences for everybody we identify as an enemy. And what did he say? It will be a bloody story. So none of this is good. I mean, happy birthday, North Korea. I wish you all the best. But none of this is good. We are heading into the first and likely the only presidential debate of this campaign, while the Republican ticket is not just led by a self-professed fan of the weirdest and worst dictators around the world, a self-professed fan of dictatorship itself. He is now promising at his rallies that there will be bloodshed. He is getting his crowds to laugh at deadly violence perpetrated against his political enemies. He has turned a skull fracture into a laugh line. He is promising to imprison his enemies en masse. He is telling his crowds that his supporters who have committed criminal acts of violence on his behalf, he will spring them all from prison because they are his martyrs. And now his running mate is about to go do a ticketed tour event with the most high-profile American media figure to have ever promoted Holocaust denial. Because Hitler wasn't really the bad guy in World War II, and by the way, the United States was on the wrong side of that fight. Welcome, Vice Presidential nominee J.D. Vance. With that as the Republican Party platform this year, heading into the first debate, the presidential race is tied between the two parties. And the character of the race on the Republican side, the de facto platform of the Republican Party here, is not just a little red flag here for danger. This is all the alarms going off all at once. There has never, ever been a presidential contest in this country with stakes like this.